Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Guys and their Gym Talk Show. So, Noel and I are here every week. You are tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, and we are setting up Instagram just a bit. We offer relatable stories about health and fitness, and we hope to inspire you to be your version of heroes, to be an achiever in your life. So if you are tuning in on Facebook and LinkedIn, we invite you to please first click the share button. So when you share this on Facebook and LinkedIn, it really helps our podcast to grow so that it can reach out to a larger audience. And of course, we get different variety of questions and people coming on. So please remember to click on the share button. And if you're afraid to share, I understand sometimes you don't want things popping up on your Facebook. You want to stay private. Tag few friends who could benefit from today's topic. Today's topic is right up here. You see, does fat really makes you fat?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy Monday, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm grateful for y'all to be here. And to my Instagram friends, Alvin is just joining in. And to my friends watching on Facebook and LinkedIn, happy Monday. Mondays are not everyone's favorite. I've come to realize, but it's our favorite. Every time
Yes.
we reach a Monday, Alvin and I are texting each other in the morning and like, hey, what's happening tonight? How are we planning the show? So Mondays are great for us, and I wish the same for you all as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we want to know, number one is, where are you streaming in from? So wherever you're watching this show from, to my friends on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, comment below. Where are you streaming in from? And I have a question for you all today. Can you? It's not easy to answer. Okay. Can you? When I was typing out this question, I was like, people are going to think very hard, but that's okay. So comment below two things for us. Number one is, where are you streaming in from? Number two, what is the healthiest thing you've ever eaten? And I was confused. I was struggling with coming up with this question at first with Alvin, because
Mm-hmm.
healthy means different for everybody. To me, healthy means different. Alvin's healthy is different. Your healthy is different. But that's the beauty of the question. We want to know, based on your idea of a healthy meal.
But Noel, when you do
Uh,
that, you are saying healthiest, right?
okay,
As
so I
in,
don't. So okay, I take my fingers away.
right? Because I'm thinking, wait,
Comment
is it
below.
a trick question? I got
No,
you.
no.
What's the healthiest food you have eaten? Let me share this first, Noel, because got so many. The first thing that pops to my mind, I'm tuning in from Kajang, and my healthiest food that I have eaten, I think I can say today, is
Yeah.
avocados. Avocados. I love avocados. I think they are the healthiest food ever. So I'm gonna live the avocados. I put them on my toast. I blend them with my protein shake. I mix them with my salad. Sometimes I just eat it like that. I love avocados. And if there are any avocados fan around, please comment avocados. Do you like avocados, Noel?
Yeah, I would. I think avocados are great. I don't think they're kind of expensive, but they
They
are great
are.
in terms of, if you're making smoothies and stuff, they add a great
Mm-hmm.
texture to what you're
Right.
eating. So avocados are great. Plant-based source of fat, and
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about fat today, so
That's
that's a
right.
great answer from you, Alvin. Also,
What's yours?
confession about avocados. At first, I always have the best intentions when I go to the supermarket and buy the avocados. I will buy them
And
and I will keep them in the fridge, because
I
here's
get
the thing
that.
about avocados. They're like, not ripe yet, right? Because you press, it's still a bit hard,
Hard.
not soft yet. Then you wait, and not ready tomorrow. No, I can't use it. Next thing you know, 1 week has passed, and then it's gone
Boom.
bad.
Gone bad. Then you feel so bad.
So
Are you so expensive and then you
correct.
wasted? I feel you
Correct.
know.
So because of that and that alone, which is, again, this is just me, not you. But I tend to not buy avocados, because I can buy the most expensive avocado, but if it's not ready to eat the next day, which is most of what they sell in the supermarket, right? They don't sell you the ones that are ready to eat unless you dig up and find the right
Correct.
one. I am someone who's just, it's just not going to happen. So I have thrown more avocados than I eat, which is sad. Which is sad. But avocados are great. You can literally like mix chocolate into it and it becomes chocolate pudding. There's so many things you can do. Thank you for sharing that. My friends, our question for you today is two things. Comment below. Number one, where are you streaming in from? And for you, what's the healthiest thing you have eaten? Alvin said his healthiest thing for now is avocados. For me, I'm streaming in from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Thank you for being here. Shout out to all our Kuala Lumpur Malaysian friends watching this. My healthiest thing I've eaten. It's hard. This is why I struggle to come up with the question. But let me just tell you what is my favorite go-to healthiest thing. I love drinking juices, but not fruit juices, but anything that's just super green. You can ask him. I'm just always looking for the greenest thing. Super green. So I love eating vegetables, but I love drinking green juices. Green juices means there's a few places in Malaysia where they sell it. If you're wanting it from overseas, there's so many places that you can get it. That means there's spinach, there's kale, there's cucumbers and everything, ginger, whatever. But here's my requirement for the green juice for being healthy. Very often, especially in the Malaysian scene, we like our things sweet. So when you buy a green juice here in Malaysia, it's full of fruit sugar, apple juice, grape juice, a whole bunch of things that they add in. But all I want is the green juice. It's not easy to find. So you can either blend it on your own where you omit the fruit. I want a green juice, right? When I went to America many years ago and I had a green juice, it tasted like crap. It was super green, super expensive, but it tasted horrible. Why? Because they did not sweeten it with fruit juices. In Malaysia, a lot of restaurants do this, and I get it why they do it, because many Malaysians, you don't want to spend $20 and buy something that doesn't taste great, right? So I understand. So my favorite thing is a green juice. When I go to a cafe, I go to any place that blends juices or does a cold press, I would look for the greenest thing in the menu, but I would want to look at the ingredients and find the one with the less amount of fruit. Now, is there anything wrong with fruit? Nothing wrong with fruit, but it's just my favorite, healthiest thing to drink, because if I want fruit, I'm going to eat the fruit. I don't want the juice of it. So my favorite thing is the green juice, Alvin.
And probably with an avocado in it. Hey, makes it green.
Correct. So it has to be a smoothie, because I don't know what will happen if you juice an avocado. I don't know what's going to come out, but I would totally accept an avocado into my smoothie, because again, it's not a high sugary fruit. But the both of us chose something green, which is great. So vegetables are good for you. So that's my invitation to you, my friends. Comment below. Number one is, where are you streaming in from? We're going to read out your answers shortly. And also, what is the healthiest thing? There's no right or wrong answer. We just want to know what your answer is. Alvin, what do we have in store for everyone today? We're talking about a very hot topic today.
Yes, we are. Does fat really makes you fat? And before we tune in, we are streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you are tuning in on Facebook and LinkedIn, we invite you to click on the share button to help us spread today's episode with different group of audience, that is your close friends and family, so that we all can learn from today's, as we're going to share with you a lot of fun facts, some that I didn't know. It's first time for me. And today we're going to talk about eating fat makes you fat or not. And we get asked, fat good for you, fat good for your health, don't eat fat, fat is bad for your health, cause heart attack. Especially Malaysian, we are so confusing, wondering what fat to eat and how much should we eat. So if you have all these questions, tune in, because you are really going to enjoy today's episode. And we're going to come clean with you. We're going to say that eating fat will not make you fat. In fact, dietary fat, that fat comes from food. We're looking at saturated fat, poly and mono unsaturated fat, trans fat. These are all dietary fat. Is completely different from your fat that is stored in your body. Okay, two different things. But what we're going to say is, eating the wrong kind of fat or eating too much of fat is going to make you gain weight. Okay, eating the wrong kind of fat or too much of fat. So today, Noel and I are going to share with you 17 fun facts about fat. 17,
17 and
Noel?
more. Yeah,
Oh,
17.
and
17
more.
because when I listed it out, it was 17. But really, I was thinking that we're going to have more. But really, everybody, like the purpose of today's show is we're not going to get technical about things. We just want to talk and have a conversation because eating fat, it's a huge and very broad topic. There's so many
Right.
things that you can ask. And today, our goal is just to if you could take one takeaway from today's show, it's really just to like, I'm gonna eat some healthy fat from now on. And that's the reason why we wanted to do today's
Correct.
episode, because very often people are afraid of fat. You join the gym, I'm gonna stop eating fat. So you go low fat this, low fat that, no fat that. But it's not a bad thing. Cutting out fat from your diet is not a bad thing, but we want you to understand today that fat is an essential part. And thank you for that introduction, Alvin. That was awesome. And we've prepared for today's show. We have 17 fun facts. I learned a whole bunch of things, especially our last fun fact. Okay, I'm gonna save this for the end. I'm not gonna tell you. You have to stay tuned. But
Absolutely.
there is one part of your body which has no fat, zero fat. It's not an organ, but it's a part of your body that does not have any fat. Can you guess what it is? I couldn't. But we're going to tell you that is fun fact number 17 coming up. We're going to get right into our episode today. And Alvin and I are going to just take turns and just kind of discuss our fun facts today. I'm going to pass the time over to Alvin. But if you're watching this right now, you have actually got a lot of homework if you're watching this show right now. You got three things. Number one is comment, where are you streaming in from? Number two, what is the healthiest thing you've ever eaten? And number three, comment any question you have for us. I'm going to just quickly read through some of the questions that you all have already sent in, which is great. And then, Alvin, I will send you off to our first question, okay? So I also want to welcome our regulars who are here and our first-timers. Welcome, Penny, Mong Peng, Sumita, Kim is here, my mom is here without fail. April Tan. Hi, April. April, I sent you a message a few hours ago. Navini is here, Bhavani and Kylie. Thank you for being here. April said she had broccoli and capsicum for dinner. She's answering the question of what's the healthiest thing. That's super healthy, April. Well done. But I also ate half a burnt cheesecake. We call that balance. Love that. Penny is streaming in from Penang. Penny's healthiest thing that she's eaten is quinoa. We love our quinoa. Thank you for answering, Penny. Penny's avocado smoothie with brown sugar is so good. Love that. So, Alvin, you have your fans for your avocado. April is coming in with the questions already, which is awesome. Keep the questions coming, my friends. And if you have a question, especially if you're watching on Instagram, click on the little question mark icon that you see. And if you're watching this on Facebook and LinkedIn, just comment your question, and Alvin and I are going to see it, and we are going to answer it for you. Just quickly reading out before we get into our main course for today. Kylie is tuning in from Subang Jaya. Alvin, Kylie's healthiest meal is her boyfriend's home cooked meals. I will leave that
Wow.
to you. Wow, you're so lucky.
Love that.
You have an awesome boyfriend, Kylie. We love that.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, great. He has to share his recipes with us. April Tan is guessing the body parts already. Not yet. April, hang on, but stay tuned. Love the answers. Let me see. Okay, great. Alvin, everyone is answered. I've just gone through. Keep those questions and comments coming in. I'm going to pass the time to Alvin as we discuss our 17 fun facts about fat.
And let me begin with the first one is the average adult has around 50 billion fat cells. 50 billion.
Yeah. And 50 billion. There's a lot of zeros behind it. And I think this is significant because very often people think about fat as not the number of fat cells, but we just think about how fat we are. Oh, I'm this many kgs. Oh, I'm this many inches today. But your body has a certain amount of fat cells. And we don't realize it, right? We think that, okay, I have 100 fat cells or I have 10,000 fat cells, but research has shown that the body can have up to 50 billion. Billion is a lot, which also tells you that the fat cells are really tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the facts that we will cover later on, we're going to talk a little bit about the size of fat cells.
Yes.
And how just because you have 50 billion fat cells
doesn't mean that you're fat.
Correct. Does not mean that you're fat. And that's great. So Alvin, thank you for sharing that first fun fact. The next fun fact that I will share is, did you know that there are 3 different types of fat? 3. Okay.
I didn't know.
And honest confession, up to this morning, I thought there was only 2, which is the white fat and the brown fat. But research has shown that there's actually a beige fat, kind of in between. All right. And white fat helps to store excess energy. So different fat has different kinds of roles. Whereas the brown fat and the beige fat, and obviously these fats are named based on the color. So if I cut your, I don't know, your triceps or your back or your somewhere, or cut your butt, you're going to see different colors, right? So these different shades of colors signifies that your body fat has different roles. So the white fat helps with storing excess energy. So if I overeat, it's going to be the white fat. The brown and beige fat contributes to heating things up inside our bodies to burn calories. So that means if you're working out and you're training, you're going for a run, you're running up the hill, your body is actually switching to the brown fat and the beige fat to burn and get energy from. Okay? And you may be wondering, like, okay, so what's up with this? Like, so how do I get more brown fat? No, it's just how your body distributes the fat. Again, we're just going a bit deeper into the trivia questions. Some of these questions may feel like, what on earth? Like, I don't care about this, because maybe you tuned in wanting to know how to lose weight. And we're going to help you as well if you're wanting some tips, which we collected from the American Heart Association on how to manage and make sure the fats that you're eating are the healthier fats. We're going to share, Elvin and I are going to share some of those tips with you at the end. But right now, we are running through
some of it is a fun facts, right?
Correct. And fun facts may be scary, maybe shocking, and some of it maybe you already know. Alvin, what's the next fun fact that we have for our guest today?
Third, fat calories should be about 20 to 35% of your total daily calories intake. Okay, so if you are consuming 1,500 calories, you need to eat 20 to 30% of it from fat. So about 300 to 525 calories from fat. Now, if you're going keto, of course, you're way above. Or if you're going like a low-fat diet, definitely way below. But that's not what the daily recommendation of fat intake is. So you should be consuming 20 to 35% of your daily calories intake. Why? Why do we need to stick within that? We'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, there's more fun fact that's going to lead up to this. So we're building up the fun facts for you.
Yeah, and Navini has a great question. Navini, can I invite you to just click on that question mark icon that you see on Instagram and copy and paste that same thing? Navini's question deserves an award.
That's right.
Why does all the fat go to the waist? We're going to answer that shortly, Navini, but again, comment on that question mark icon and we will get to that. Thank you for sharing that fun fact also. Alvin, the next fun fact that we have for you, my friends, if you're watching this, is that eating healthy fats actually prevent weight gain. So very often we are afraid of eating fats because, fat is bad, I'm going to avoid it so that I can lose weight. But actually, when you eat the right kinds of fat, it actually helps manage and prevent weight gain. Studies have shown that there's a few different kinds of fats. There's monounsaturated fat, there's polyunsaturated fat, there's saturated fats. There's a few kinds of fats. We can get into that a little bit later, but basically studies have shown that when you consume monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, they are the good ones. And where do you find these monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats? from your peanut butter. Alvin's favorite fat.
That's right.
Alvin's favorite fat is not avocados, it's peanut butter. He's just the healthiest thing he ate was
Thank you for
avocado.
remembering that,
So,
Noel.
but
That's true.
avocados, peanut butters, almonds, flax seeds, walnuts. Actually, if I'm not wrong, so not all plant-based sauce, because durian fat is actually saturated fat. But majority of plant-based fats are actually monounsaturated or polyunsaturated fat. So that means that's why there's a lot of people who eat plant-based and they see improvements in their health because
Right.
they are eating a better kind of fat. Does it mean that fat from meat is bad? No, it all comes down to balance. So again, research has shown that when you eat monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, the good fats, this can actually lower your bad cholesterol. So if you go to the doctor said, hey, your cholesterol is very high, you tell your doctor, I've got a plan. Because they're going to put you on the drugs right away, which is okay. You listen to your doctor, don't just listen to Alvin and me, but know that you can do things as well to kind of reduce and manage your cholesterol. What you eat can change how you feel, and whatever goes into your mouth can totally transform your body. Drugs are one thing, but eating can manage your cholesterol. Alvin, what's the next fun fact that you have for us?
Our next fun fact is 3,500 calories is equivalent to 1 pound of fat. 1 pound of fat, 3,500 calories. So if you're looking to lose fat, be sure to be in a calorie deficit. Now, should you go all out deficit 3,500 calories in a day? Not the best idea. So if you're looking at calorie deficit, losing fat, start small, perhaps calorie deficit of 200 to 300, and build that up over a month. But to lose 1 pound of fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories.
Yeah. And I think this is important because very often people underestimate how much of a caloric deficit we need to be in order to lose weight. Sometimes people will go for a 30-minute walk and they're like, how come I never lose weight the next day? Like, hello, your walk only burned 100 calories. It takes 3,500 calories
to lose 1 pound.
1 pound. A pound is
about 450 grams.
Yeah, because 1 kg of fat is
2.
1 kg is 2.2 pounds. So a pound is like, let's just say half lah. A pound is like half a kg. So it takes you 3,500 calories of deficit. And a few ways to get your deficit. You can run, you can train, you can manage your diet. So this is a fact. It's a fun fact for a lot of you all because many of us don't realize it takes a lot of it's a huge caloric deficit to lose that amount of weight. And great. Thank you for sharing that, Alvin. Okay, next one is very much in alignment of what Alvin just said. Is fat provides more than twice the amount of usable energy. So while we talk about calories, and you may go, oh my God, why am I eating all this fat? That it's energy. So, and that's not a bad thing. Your body needs energy. So fat is actually a great source of energy. It's not a bad thing. And it's almost more than twice the amount of usable energy compared to carbohydrates and protein. Protein can give your body energy. Carbohydrates can also give your body energy. But fat gives your body double. And that's why when you eat all the fried stuff, you can easily overload the amount of energy that your body gets. So coming back down to caloric deficit and energy balance, this is why fat is, again, we're not saying today that fat's a bad thing, but fat can very easily cause you to tip the scales. You can eat a lot more protein and carbohydrates compared to fat. And the funny thing is, Alvin, what's everyone afraid of? People are afraid of carbs. Not afraid of fat. They're afraid of carbs. We eat all the fried stuff and everything else, but when it comes to carbs, we're like, no carbs. Like, hello, I can eat double the amount of carbs compared to fat.
That's our next. And I also want to add one more point to this is like if you are into running ultra marathons, long distance endurance race, when your body completely depletes all the carbohydrates, your body starts burning fat. And that's why you see a lot of these ultra distance runner athletes, they're all very, very lean and very thin. because the body burns fat, converts fat as fuel for their long distance race. So those are just some added points for you. Now, if you are watching this, I invite you to keep the question coming. I saw on Facebook, we got questions, Instagram, we got questions. Thank you so much. We're going to answer most, if not all of the question at the end or somewhere towards the end where we can link some of these points to your questions. Next fact is 60% of our brain consists of fat. 60% of our brain. So our body really relies on fat for survival. If you're thinking of, I don't want to eat fat, I want to go on low fat diet, no fat, fat making me fat, that is unwise and counterproductive because you're going to feel like lethargic, unable to function, don't have the best performance inside and outside of the gym. So you need fat, your brain needs fat because 60% of it consists of fat.
Yeah. Speaking about fat and brains, Alvin, have you eaten brains before?
No, I have not. Have you?
No, I think I have. I think I have. At some point of my childhood days, I think my dad's very very traditional. My mom, and I can vaguely remember, we would eat the brain, not like an everyday thing lah. This is like once in a year or something. But my dad would get like a goat's head, and my mom, who's watching this show right now, would actually know how to cook the brains. And it's a one-off thing, right? And it's super, like, again, I was super young, probably less than 10 years old, but I can remember it being like creamy, and obviously, right, it's like what, 60-70% fat. But I've eaten brains before, so I don't know why I brought that up, but I just thought that it's like this who's watched Indiana Jones, where they eat the brains of the monkey. Okay, so that's not what I did. I did not eat the brains of a monkey, but brains are edible. And
it is, because I Google, it says brains meat contain omega-3 fatty acids.
There you
go. Have it.
So yeah. So comment below if you have eaten brains before, because I have, but probably the last time was like easily 30 over years ago. But just thought I'd throw that in, and it's so true. Your body is, brains aside, your body, everyone knows about your body consists of so many percent water, but your body consists of fat as well, and it's essential. True. And the lesson that we're trying to drive in today to all of you watching this is that fat is essential. It's not something to be afraid of. It's not something to fear. It's something to manage.
That's right.
Great. Next fun fact. Women need higher levels of fat than men. So ladies, you can eat more fat than us guys. Fat is essential for reproduction. And like we've said, your body needs fat, but women have certain functions in your body which requires more fat. So you can't be on a zero fat diet and expect to have a super healthy pregnancy. A pregnancy may happen, but it may not be optimum. So your body needs fat, right? Like we all, when I know I have many female clients that when they get pregnant, they eat better, they take care, they drink all these formulas and drinks. And why? Because it makes sure you get your nutrition, which is you need your body fat. So this is an interesting point, because very often people think that you guys can eat all the fat that you want, you all don't get fat. No, you ladies, your bodies actually need more fat, especially for reproduction, and also brain building. This one applies to both men and women. Brain building fats, omega-3s, and so on. So that's my tip. Alvin, what's the next?
And I also like that since we are talking about women, I just want to point out, like, when we talk about hormones and menstrual cycles, it can go quite deep. Yes. But one common thing I realized, like, when I have a conversation with clients on menstrual cycles, and when we get the topic of Alvin, I miss my cycle for weeks and months. And one common thing I can realize is their diets usually lack of healthy fats. So you do want to take note of that. Includes healthy fat, and it helps with your hormones. It helps regulate everything. And if you're watching this and you're missing your menses, keep that in mind, okay? Healthy fats. We're going to reach to what are healthy fats in a few more fun facts, which is leading up to fun fact number 9. I like this. Fat cells can live for an average of 10 years.
I don't know if we should like this or not, or should I be afraid? But yeah, so 10 years. So what happens after 10 years? I did not go that deep into the research, although I have the link to the research. But what it means is that if there's a fat cell in your body, it can stay in there for up to 10 years. What happens in 10 years? I believe they just get replaced because you're always gaining more fat. Not in a bad way, but your body's always adding more fat. But yeah, who would have thought? Because some of us think that the fat lives with us until the very end, right? So that's not the case. Your fat cells actually die off.
That's right.
And in 10 years. So then you may be asking, why am I always fat for the past 50 years? It's because you've gained new fat cells. Well, the old fat cells have died off. And
Or
I think
perhaps the
that's
old fat cells enlarge, which we're going to reach very
correct. Yeah.
close to it.
We're going to talk a little bit about fat cells, as in like, how come they're still there and why is mine bigger and so on. So great. Thank you for sharing that, Elvin. Fat cells can live an average of 10 years. Now you know. Great. I love this fact. Probably one of my favorite among the 17 is muscle weighs more than fat. That means if I don't have my replica with me today. It's at the gym.
Oh, your
If
replica.
for all the days, right? So if I had 1 kg of muscle, it's gonna look this small. Okay. If I had 1 kg of fat, it might look this big. Two fists.
Mm-hmm.
So that means your fat takes up a lot more space in your body than the muscle. And we say this because it's important, because sometimes when you start a gym routine, you start training, you start lifting weights, 3 months down the road, you're like, wait a minute, like my weight went up, which you gain muscle, and you think that's a bad thing. But actually, that's a good thing because you've gained muscle. And we tend to think that, I only lost 1 kg of fat, but 1 kg of fat versus 1 kg of muscle. Losing 1 kg of fat has a lot more benefit to your body. So I bring that up because I want you to know that building more muscle is a good thing. People are afraid to lose muscle. And when you step on the scale and your weight goes up, and if you gain muscle, especially if you did one of these in-body analysis or body fat percentage measurement, sometimes we tend to look at the fat and we look at the weight, we ignore the muscle part. But actually, that little bit of muscle that you gain is super beneficial for you. So coming back to our point, which is muscle weighs more than fat. So the more muscle you build, the easier it becomes for you to burn fat and maintain weight. Yeah, so building muscle is a good thing. And reminder again, I have so many female clients who come to the gym and say, I don't want to build muscle.
Don't want to be big.
I don't want to be big. I don't want to be bulky. And that we understand that. And I don't want to build muscle. Everyone I just want to lose weight. So we're here to tell you that building muscle is a good thing. And muscle weighs more than fat. So when the scale goes up, don't freak out. It's just a little bit of muscle that you gain, and losing that fat takes a little bit longer. And the good news is that building 1 kg of muscle versus losing 1 kg of fat, you're going to see that fat, the difference that you see, the visible difference is a lot more. Okay, Alvin, what's our next fun fact?
Ooh, fun fact 11. Yes, we are 11. Liposuction cannot decrease weight-related issues and risks. So if you are obese and thinking, and you have like diabetes or heart-related disease, cardiovascular disease, let me put it that way, and you're thinking, let me go for liposuction, it's going to solve everything. It cannot help you, because your subcutaneous tissue, or let me simplify this, your visible fat that stores beneath your skin, it's totally different from your visceral tissues, which is the fat that is hidden around your organ. Okay, so when you liposuction them, makes it impossible to solve any of your weight-related issues. Does that?
You become smaller, Alvin, which is what people want. But in terms of health, you're not getting the health benefit because all the other fat is still around. So it's just a cosmetic thing, which just makes you happy. You fit into your clothes. But in terms of health benefits, if you think that I can go to get liposuction and I don't need to go to the gym, then you can start healthy. But sometimes some people go get liposuction and think that why you go to the gym and work so hard, I just
Problem
go
solved.
liposuction. I pay 10,000, I get a liposuction done, go through lots of pain for 6 weeks and 8 weeks and bandaged up and all of that. And you think that all my health problems are solved. No, you got the weight resolved, but your health situation is just the same. So
That's true.
liposuction does not decrease your weight related issues or risk. That's a powerful one. And in today's day and age, it's so easy to go. There's so many things. Liposuction is one thing. There's other things where you can go and kill your fat cells and freeze, and there's a whole bunch of things. It's a great way to make money. I think if I weren't running a gym, I will be running an aesthetic clinic.
Ooh.
And telling people the right way to do it. They'll come there and I'll tell them like, this is how you don't do it. I'll charge you and you do it. And then here's the real. You go to Alvin's gym. We'll send you over there for maintenance after your liposuction session. Just kidding, everybody. Next fun fact is, are you all ready for this? This is kind of scary. When you lose weight, you don't actually lose your fat cells. That means if, let's say, okay, what was the number that's now? 50 billion fat cells.
Correct.
So if, let's say today you got 50 billion fat cells in your body, and over the next 12 months, you hired a trainer, you went to the gym, you lost weight, you like literally your everything, you improve your health. 12 months down the road, you actually still have the same 50 billion fat cells. You're like, what? What on earth? Yeah, fat cells don't disappear. They just only grow bigger or they grow smaller. So the number of fat cells remain the same. Then if you're wondering now, like, wait, so how come when I go on a holiday or 1 month during Ramadan, I overeat and then I gain 6 kgs and I'm bigger and I can't fit into my clothes? The fat cells are the same number. So what happened? Your fat cells just grew bigger. So fat cells don't increase. Well, they do up to a certain age. When you hit puberty, your number of fat cells start to stop increasing.
So,
yeah.
I'm going to add on to that because what Noel said is true. Our next fact is fat cells grows up to 1,000 times of their original size. So what Noel's saying, if you go on holiday and you eat a little bit extra and you gain some fat, it's not that you gain new fat cell, it's your current fat cells grow in size, and they can grow 1,000 times of their original size. So they maybe start something small like this and multiply by 1,000, and that's how we become overweight, leads us to obesity, is our fat cells expand in size.
Correct. Coming back to a point earlier, so is there a way that I can reduce the number of fat cells? Actually, there is. It's via surgery. Or if you did liposuction, you actually reduce the number of fat cells. But liposuction, as we learned just now, does not improve your health. It reduces the number of fat cells. That's one way, because you're literally going in and sucking it out, so your fat cells will decrease. There is another point that we'll talk about. Like, so if you're wondering, like, wait a minute, so how do I determine the number of fat cells that I have in my body? When does it start? When does it stop? The next, we have a few points down the road where we're going to talk about that. Where how do you determine how many fat cells you have in your body? Next fun fact, Alvin.
Fact number 14 is healthy hairs, healthy skins are all because of you consuming healthy fats. So we need certain fats to absorb nutrients like vitamin A, D, E, K. So it's easy to just remember adik, vitamin A, D, E, K. You need fat to absorb them. There's like certain supplements, they will say, please consume me after a high fat meal, because you need that fat for the nutrients or for the vitamins to be absorbed into your bloodstream to supply you. If without any fat or your low fat diet, it won't absorb this. So you're probably lacking of certain nutrients. Vitamin A, D, E, K, fat soluble vitamin.
Great, good point. Because again, I think this is an added bonus. Because some people like, I don't want to eat fat, I want to go low fat. Like, hey, you're going to get healthier skin, healthier hair, a glow in your face. Because again, what we realize just now is our body needs fat in order to function. Next fun fact. This one's a bit weird and silly, but it's true and it has to be said because sometimes we think it's a bad thing. The fat on your butt. Okay, the body distributes fat all over, right? So the fat on your butt, by the way, your glutes, your butt is mostly fat. Yes, you have your glutes, but it's a lot of fat in your butt. It's actually healthier than the fat in your abdominal area, your belly fat. So butt fat is healthier than belly fat. Because sometimes you'll be like, I just want to lose my butt and like I don't care about my belly fat. Like, no, it's your butt fat's actually not a bad thing. Why? Because belly fat, your abdominal fat, is very often a response for stress to your body, your hormones, your cortisol, compared to butt fat. Butt fat is just your body storing fat there, regardless of how stressed and how whatever situation your body's going through. So you may not like your butt fat because you may say that you may come to the gym like my butt's too big. I want to reduce it. Like it's not a bad thing. Better you have more fat on your butt than fat on your belly and abdominals.
That's true.
That's a weird and random fat fact for you. Moving on to the next one, Elvin.
Next one would be most people gain at least 1 gram of extra body fat a day. I didn't know this. It's so interesting. Most people gain at least 1 gram of
Yeah,
extra body fat a day. So
one
does that
gram
mean
is like
that
so little, right? Yeah.
even if I'm in a calorie deficit? I'm not sure.
I think not, Elvin. I think if you're not in a, if you're, oh, actually, it's a good thing, huh? I should probably click
Yeah.
the link and read the research a little bit more.
But
But I
then
believe
again,
it
it said
also
most
goes on,
people. Most people. Yeah.
correct,
So
but
it's
it
like
also goes
assuming
on to
everything.
show that it also goes on to show that there's just these little fluctuations that happen, and gaining 1 gram of fat is no big deal. Like it's 1 gram, right? And your body's always just trying to balance things out because
That's
it's
right.
I store a little bit, I use a little bit. It's just really the beauty of our body. But it's
You are
true
absolutely right.
because
It's our body is constantly building and breaking down and adding and minusing. Our metabolism
correct.
is just running continuously. You are absolutely right, Noel.
Correct. And we wanted to bring up this fact because very often we are so afraid of fat. We're so afraid of like, oh, I gained a little bit, but listen, everybody, even the skinny person out there, your body's gaining at least 1 gram of fat a day because it's just trying to be healthy, just trying to manage. Your brain is mostly fat. So all these things happening in your body. So if you are afraid of fat, don't want to eat it, don't want to touch it, just know that your body's going to have its way. It's going to happen anyway. Great. Coming on
And the
to our
last fun
last,
fact, Noel, that's for you.
correct. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. But also, I saw a few comments coming in. So coming back to our teaser question that we asked earlier, what is that one part of your body which has no fat? Your body does not store fat cells in this part of your body. Are you wondering where? Like I got fat here, I got fat here, got fat here, I got fat like something like. Can you answer? Can you comment below? I'm just curious. I'm going to give you like 1 or 2 minutes, okay? I mean, nearing the end of our show, before we talk about some ways to lower your and manage your fat intake, comment below. What is that one part of your body where you all are googling the answer, right? I knew it, lah. You all, it's okay. I'll do that too. But it's okay. Keep it coming. Keep the comments coming. Comment below. What's the one part of your body where your body does not store fat? I'm gonna quickly read some of the answers. Thank you all for commenting, like from just now. If you have a question for us, comment in the little question mark icon. We have 3 questions there already, which Alvina will get to right after this. I'm seeing. And then we'll get to Navini's question. Why does all the fat go to the waist? Sumita says, and the thigh. Okay, Sumita or Navini, can you all go to the question mark and comment that question? Why does all the fat go to the waist and the thighs? And then we will answer that. Someone said my face is not very clear. Hi, Claire. Bhavani says, yeah, visceral fat increases cardiovascular risk. That's true. Bhavani says it's the eye. Claire says it's the hair. Claire, good answer. Good answer. Claire. Kimberly, yep. put an emoji there. She says it's the ear. Navini says it's the eyelids. Bhavani says it's the eyeballs. Great. Okay, all of you all, I
We
love
got
how it's
someone
kind
here
of
saying it's the nail. Sharifa is saying it's the nail.
correct. Actually, it's not wrong, right? The nail is also not wrong. I think coming back to my question and how I worded it, but the answer is, everybody, drum roll. The one place, of course, I think nail is also correct, but based on the trivia that we did earlier today, the one place that fat cells do not exist on your body is in your eyelids, not the eye. I believe the eyeball has fat, I think, but your eyelids has no fat. Interesting. Navini says eyelids. Bhavani says eyeballs. Okay, quite close enough. But yeah, so again, that's some fun trivia questions. Again, we just want to have fun and learning a little bit more about fat, because we want you to realize that fat's not an enemy. Your fat is your friend.
That's
The
true.
fat that you consume, it's your friend. It does your body good. And Alvin, anything else you want to add on before we go to some of the questions that we see?
All of the facts that Noel and I mentioned today, we're going to put it down in our little show note on the live version of Facebook and on our website. So do hop over to see what are the 17 facts. And we have a few questions. Let's dive straight into it, Noel. Let's get
Yeah.
some from Instagram first.
There's 4 questions. Great questions, very relevant. Let's go to April's question first. April, I hope you're still here. April is saying, is yogurt healthy? Is it fattening? I'll answer first, and then I'll let Alvin put in his thoughts as well. So, April, I think yogurt is a great thing to include in your diet for a couple of reasons. Number one is it's a balanced food. It's not like deep fried with so much of fat inside. It's got protein, carbohydrates, and fat. It's a healthy thing to eat. So your question has 2 parts. Is yogurt healthy? Answer is yes. Is it fattening? I believe that there's no such thing as a fattening food. There's no such thing as a good food or a bad food. It's just that foods can be eaten badly. That means if I can totally overeat an apple. If I had 300 apples every day, that's overeating an apple, and I will still gain weight. So is it fattening? I believe what you're trying to ask is it high in calories? Because at the end of the day, if something is fattening, which is I don't think we should label foods fattening or not. We should label it as high calorie or lower in calories. Now, why does that matter? Because in order for you to gain fat, you have to eat more than what your body requires. And if something is very high calorie, it's very easy to overeat and gain fat. Now, I think that the yogurt that you're eating is the least of your problems. Even if you're having full fat, full cream, whatever yogurt, it's the least of your problems. Usually where people tend to go back, I don't know anyone who gained weight from eating too much yogurt. Can I put it that way? But people gain weight because of the late night eating or the fried stuff and so on. So to answer your question, April, great question. Number one is I would say that yes, yogurt is healthy. Is it fattening? No, if you eat it in moderation. Because
That's right.
anything that you can eat anything and it will become fattening. Like Alvin loves his dark chocolate, Alvin loves his peanut butter. Typically, people will look at those two things and say, hey, it's very fattening. Like, no, not in the way Alvin eats it. It's not fattening. So everything in moderation.
And I'll
I
just
hope that
add on to that
yes,
that a
yes, Alvin.
healthier version of yogurt would be Greek yogurt. So you want to always aim for Greek yogurt. Look the one that has less flavoring in it. Hence, you will have a lower calorie to it. And I just have to add on that overeating any food, including avocados, yogurt, dark chocolate, is going to lead you to gain weight.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. April, thank you for asking that. I hope that helps. Next question is, interesting. Sumita has that. Maybe Alvin, you want to help answer first? Sumita saying, how would I know if I've gained muscle or fat?
I love that. So if you would have gained muscle, the first thing you would notice is to look back at your gym, your training program, and see that you gain stronger in it. For example, when you first started, you can only do one push-up. And at the end of 3 months, at the end of your programs, you can do 10 push-ups. So that shows that the strength for you to do that extra 9 push-up comes from your newly gained muscle. So you may still weigh the same, look somewhat the same, but you're able to do extra push-ups. So you know you gain strength, you gain muscles. And one thing that I often remind my clients, and as trainers, one benefit is we trainers, we track performance in the gym, which often overlooked by a lot of people, because when they see progression in gym, they tend to look more of like the physical appearance, lose weight, lose inches around the waist, which are great. But one key indicator that you are making progress in your gym, like what you're doing, it's working, is to take a look at your training log. You're getting stronger, you're running faster. Then you know that you gain muscles.
Yeah, and I would add to that also, Sumita, it's a great question. Gaining muscle is also, at some point, it becomes quite visible, just like how gaining fat is also visible. So there's a few ways to measure. Alvin mentioned about how you can track your progress, and you will know that I'm getting stronger, therefore I'm gaining muscle. You can also track on, you can do a body fat analysis. They have machines that can do that, and you can track your body fat percentage. And these machines can track how much muscle you've gained. They are not super 100% accurate, but they give you an idea, and you can see overall trends: fat coming down, muscle mass going up. That's one way. You can also take progress photos. You can also take measurements, measure your chest, your waist, your hips. You can also see how your clothes fit. Generally, if you're gaining muscle, everything's going to feel better, everything's going to fit better, and you're going to be visibly, when you look in the mirror, you're going to be happier with the outcome. If you're gaining fat, it's the complete opposite. You're not going to be very happy with what you're seeing in the mirror. Your measurements, you're not going to be happy. How your clothes fit, also not going to be very happy. Complete opposite. But great question, because if you don't track what's happening, you don't measure, you never know where you're heading. So good on you for even tracking that. And remember, there's many ways to track. Great. 2 more questions on Instagram. If you got questions, still keep it coming. Next question from Navini. And Navini's question also very similar to Sumita. So let me just display Navini. Sumita is saying, why do all the fats go to the thighs and the tummy? Navini is saying, why does all the fat go to the waist? Again, let me answer first, and then Alvin will add on.
Sure.
We can't choose where we want our body to accumulate fat, the same way we can't choose where we want the body to lose fat. You can do all the triceps extensions, but your body is not going to lose the fat here. It's going to lose overall. Abdominal fat especially is very related to stress, cortisol, not getting enough sleep. That's why your body tends to accumulate fat there. And again, everybody is different. Some people get it on their face. Some people go to the gym, they lose 3 kgs. All the 3 kgs comes from the chest. And women are like, I lost all my boobs in the first month. And everybody's different, right? So you can't pick and choose. But if your fat is always, if you feel that the first place that I'm gaining is the waist, then I encourage you to look at not just about the amount of workouts that you're doing, but look at your overall lifestyle. Are you getting enough sleep? Is work stressful? Is stuff at home stressful? Maybe you're running a business. There's a whole bunch of things that you're doing. Are you stressed? Because that is a huge factor in abdominal fat. Now, to Sumita, who asked earlier also, but why doesn't all my weight goes to the thighs and the hips? There's a lot of research that also shows that some people have generally a bit more estrogen dominant and would generally have a lot more body fat in your hips and your thighs. So in other words, you look more like a woman, like an emphasized version of a female. And that's just your hormones and how you are built. It's not a wrong thing, but at the same time, everybody's different. Some people have more hormones. Your hormonal balance is different. So your friend may be super skinny, but you may be like, I have all the fat in all my hips and your thighs. Again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you can actually do things to train and eat differently. There are supplements that you can take. There are blood tests that you can do to kind of see whether is your body more estrogen dominant. But that's a whole chapter and topic altogether. And you probably want to work with a practitioner who can help you in these areas. Again, coming back to the fact that just because your hips are big doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Everybody's different. Everyone's unique. Everybody's beautiful. But if you're curious about why some people gain fat in their hips and not in the chest, why it's just everyone's unique. Most people don't have a problem with that. It's just that if you get down to the fact that I want my body to be this way and that way, then there's a lot more that can go into that. Great. Hope I answered that for you. I think that's about all the questions we have on Instagram. Alvin, what do we have on Facebook?
We have one question here on Facebook. We're going to take it. I'm just going to say that what Noel mentioned on estrogen, on genetic, on stress, I have a link that's going to give you an in-depth understanding on it. The link will be on our mainstream, our show note. Do check it out. And our last question is on Facebook. It's from Sharifa. And she said, I like butter. Is that good fat, Noel? Do you like butter?
I love butter too. I think every fat has its place. My rationale will be butter is a natural fat. It comes from
animal fat.
Cow.
Yeah, correct.
Animal fat comes from a cow. There's also olive oil, which is, if you ask me, it's natural fat. It comes from it's plant-based. Now,
correct.
The fat that, again, every fat can be overdone. Like, doesn't mean that you put butter in your coffee, butter in your bread, and in 1 week you finish a whole stick of butter. That's a whole issue on its own. If that's your butter consumption, you got to cut it down. But the butter isn't the issue. Now, is there a bad fat? Yes, there is a bad fat. The trans fat, shortening, the things that some fast food restaurants fry your fries in. Did you know that the fat doesn't even come in bottles? It comes in boxes because it's like solid and they have to dissolve it, which is just bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, if you've seen what goes on behind the scenes, that's bad fat. Why is it bad? It's synthetic. It's artificially produced. Didn't come from any animal. Didn't come from a plant. Those are the fats. Those are trans fats, which have been proven to be detrimental to your health. So coming back to your question, great question about butter. Butter's great. It's natural. Go for it. But make it a part of your balanced diet. Now, the fat that you should look out for is the trans fat. That's what I would say. How about you, Alvin? Anything to add to that?
I'm just going to add on to that. It's like when perhaps a lot of people also wondering, should I eat butter or should I eat margarine? They are two very similar. So that's right. Margarine is made out of vegetables oil that usually contain more unsaturated fat. It can be good also. You have your polyunsaturated, monounsaturated. And then butter on the hand is animal fat, more saturated fat. Eat in moderation because the guideline is 20% to 35% of your total calories intake should be from fat. Okay, choose the good fat, avoid the trans fat. Now, when you mention of the frying of all that, it's true because trans fat, you can boil for hours and it doesn't evaporate. That's why they keep frying, using the same oil over and again. Of course, to a restaurant standpoint, it's cost efficient. You don't have, you put olive oil, it's just gone already after you just, grill one piece of chicken. But trans fat, it just stays there.